What's up, my bitter bros? Maine-iac here. It may look like I'm doing Fortnite, but if you read the title, obviously, you would know this is MLB. So just listen here. I don't really have anything to go on with the current MLB thing. I don't even have a game from the last 2 years. Really, I have a game that's a few years old, but it's not current. So I'm just gonna go more of a podcast setup. I hope that's okay with you guys. We're gonna do the playoff predictions, and if there needs to be any sort of corrections during the National League play-in games. Today, I'll try to post up the corrections later on tonight. First, we have the American League wildcard game, because the American League is all figured out, so that's not going to change whatsoever. We have the American League wildcard game, the Oakland Athletics at the New York Yankees. On paper, the Yankees get paid a lot more money. They have Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. They look like they have more power. But the A's are one of those teams that at the beginning of the season they didn't play too well, and it kind of put them in a bad spot. If they played as well at the beginning of the season as they did later on in the season, they would possibly be the best record in the American League. That's how scary they have been. It has been insane, and I love it. Um, Although I do think in a one-game playoff series, depending on who's pitching, but either way, I'm gonna have to go with the New York Yankees at home. I think they do have home field advantage, especially Aaron Judge plays a lot better at home, and I think they win the wild card there. And with the Yankees winning the American League wild card in my predictions, that would put them up against the number one record in the American League, the Boston Red Sox. So we have a divisional round matchup, which is fun to say. Um, Best of five series if needed, the full 5 games in a series. I like Chris Sale if he can pitch fully. I'm not sure how he is right now. But if he can pitch fully with David Price, I think the Red Sox should be able to edge out the Yankees here. And I'm gonna pick the Red Sox in 4. Now, one reason that is, and it's not because I'm a Red Sox fan, trust me, the bullpen is absolute garbage. So if the Red Sox lose, it's probably gonna be because the Yankees can exploit the bullpen. But the reason why I'm picking the Red Sox here is the threat of speed and power, and the fact that the whole lineup is capable of power. And not only that, but you have Mookie Betts, who just hit 346 with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. You have JD Martinez, who bats generally fourth or fifth, who can belt 43 home runs. Bogarts had a lot of runs and RBIs as well. Jackie Bradley Jr. is getting more solid. Aaron Judge is still coming back from his injury he had a while back. And the recent Red Sox-Yankees series was interesting because where it was at the end of the year and everything was already decided, neither team gave it like 100%. And the Red Sox had, I believe, a small edge on the Yankees throughout the regular season. So I give them a small edge here. Now, if the Yankees win, I'll say this now as a Red Sox fan, it would not surprise me whatsoever if the Yankees win. They have the pitching, they have the talent, they have the bullpen, the power, the speed. They have a lot of good aspects. They are a legit World Series contender here, and it would not surprise me if they won at all. And then in the other division series for the American League, we have the Cleveland Indians going to the Houston Astros. An intense series for sure. In a best of 5, this is going to be intense because Cleveland and Houston match up so well together for some good football. As you know, Houston has great starters throughout. They make bad starters good, I should say. Let me just go to the lobby here. They have a good lineup. You got Francisco Lindor on the Indian side, and you have a lot of other good talent on both sides. I think the Astros here probably are favored. If the Indians win, I think they'll push it to 5 games. I don't think the Indians could sweep, but I think they could hold their own. I think the Indians will hold their own. I think it will be the Astros in 5. Should be a close series. I love the 4 big teams in the American League right now, and I love the aspect of the Athletics being that underdog in there as well, because you have 4 huge powerhouses. Granted, the Indians aren't really a powerhouse. They had the benefit of a hugely weak division, but they're not a team to be underestimated with. And for the American League Championship Series, that would put the Houston Astros at the Boston Red Sox. I think the Red Sox could realistically win this in 5 or 6. They struggle against better teams so far this year, but this young crew, they got something to them, and so do the Astros. This Red Sox crew almost reminds me a little bit of when the Astros won the World Series. I think the Red Sox win in 7, and yes, I think it goes the full way. So if that works out, we have we have the Red Sox winning the American League. But if you are familiar with the channel or my baseball predictions, then you should know I suck at predicting when it comes to the Red Sox. There was one postseason where I got it almost exactly correct, but that was before I even started recording videos, and kind of sucked. That was I think when the Red Sox won against the Cardinals in 2011 or 2013. Anyway, now for the National League, this is where it gets funky and it might need some correction. I apologize for you guys. We have the play-in games, tiebreaker situations, Milwaukee Brewers at Chicago Cubs and Colorado Rockies at Los Angeles Dodgers. This one's tough because it does change minor things, but in the end, not really. Because you have whoever loses this game, both games, the Brewers and Cubs and Rockies and Dodgers, will play each other tomorrow. So the losers play each other and winners get to go on. That aspect of it is so fun. The Brewers at the Cubs, I love the Brewers in this one. They have fought so well. Yelich, probably hands down the NL MVP. If I was picking a batter this year, granted, I'm picking Max Scherzer, 300-something strikeouts. Does not happen that often, man. Come on. Yelich had a great season. Brewers were originally, I believe, when they signed Yelich and Lorenzo Cain, questioned a little bit around late January, but they've paid off so well. I think the Brewers take this one in an upset, take the division, and send the Cubs to the wild card game, which in the wild card game, I don't know who you pitch in the tiebreaker game. Because you have to think the divisional series, you have the Atlanta Braves coming to town if you're the Dodgers and you win this. And that game starts October 4th, which is Thursday. And this game is October 1st. So, if I was LA, what I would do is start Clayton Kershaw. Don't start him don't use him too much. I think the Dodgers can win this one. It's such an interesting thing indeed, but I'm just gonna pick I'll pick the Dodgers here. To me, more solid pitching, okay. I have to rethink this game because I keep switching back and forth. The way the Rockies were almost counted out of the postseason just a few weeks ago and then came back and made their way in is kind of amazing. I think the Rockies actually come back and win this one. I love Arenado. I love Story. I love the power. I was going to pick the Dodgers, but the issue is if you start Kershaw, there's not a huge amount of starting pitching behind him for the wild card game. So I think you don't start Kershaw in the play-in game because I think you use him for the wild card game if you have to. Because it would suck to use him for the tiebreaker, then not be able to use him for the wild card because you lose, and then you have to fight there. So that would set up the Cubs at the Dodgers, or the Dodgers at the Cubs for the wild card game. I think the Cubs. I think in that situation the Cubs would win this one. I picked the Dodgers to win this one. It would be an upset right now. I agree it would be a major upset, but no, you know what? I'm completely changing. I know I'm flip-flopping here. I'd pick the Cubs to win that wild card game. I like the Dodgers, but there are some inconsistencies in the offense and in that pitching staff. And it goes with the uncertainties in the pitchers here. I like the stability of the Cubs' offense and defense a lot more. They have been playing hot and cold lately more than anyone else, but I think the Cubs do squeeze in here, and that is interesting. And if that is the case, that would put the Cubs back against the Milwaukee Brewers in the divisional round, which is kind of funny because then we'd get two divisional rounds, which are from divisional opponents with the Red Sox and Yankees as well. With the Cubs at the Brewers, I think the Brewers take this one in 4. Like I said before in the play-in game, Brewers have a great offense. They have decent pitching, good defense all around. They can beat you 3 different ways from Sunday, and I just like them in that environment. And if that's the case, though, I would put the Atlanta Braves against the Colorado Rockies. Both of these would be considered probably upset contenders at the beginning of the season. I don't think I originally had either of them here. Although I believe I did pick the Rockies to make the wild card game, which is kind of funny how that worked out. And we have, with the Braves and Dodgers, or the Braves and Rockies, we have hitting against hitting. Acuna has been absolutely amazing for the Braves. They have good starting pitching here. This game could very well go either way, and I am happy. I would be happy getting to see any of these National League team play in this one because they obviously earned it. They're good players and good teams. In this series, I would have to pick the Atlanta Braves in 5. I know that would be kind of an upset over the Dodgers or Rockies, but I just love how the Braves have played. Plus, I feel like that little play-in game is going to give the Braves just a little bit of an advantage when it comes to rotation, and I think that gets them the little squeaky edge right there. Now, if that's the case, for the National League Championship Series, that sets up a Braves v. Brewers situation, so a little Airbnb, if you know what I mean, because all the power between the Brewers and Braves, it might as well be a B&B. Now, this series is a lot more harder to predict because you have the A's and the Brewers both weren't really expected to be too good. Originally, I should say. A lot of people underestimated them. That actually probably fits a little bit better. I know I say a lot, and I do apologize for that. All these teams, they haven't really necessarily been on national television a lot. But I think this comes down to home field. I think the Brewers can win this one in 7. And I know I'm picking a lot of these to go the distance, but I think a lot of these teams are really even. I think the Brewers do have what it takes, and at this point, their starting rotation is a little bit more in check after the play-in game. So I think they can handle the Braves. And for the World Series, which should be from October 23rd to the 31st if it goes all the way. So if it does go all the way, the World Series will literally end on Halloween, which is epic. But it would be the Boston Red Sox versus the Milwaukee Brewers. We got Beantown versus Beertown. And this one is definitely interesting for sure because, like I said, the Red Sox have a lot of young power. They can run. They can play great defense with Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts in the outfield. Benintendi's a good defender as well. You have good hitting from the Brewers with Yelich, an MVP candidate. I think both teams could push each other, and I honestly would not be surprised to see either one take home the World Series. But I think what's going to be the answer here is who is more consistent, and I'm going to pick the Boston Red Sox. And I know it seems like I'm favoring them, but when you look at the records, the Red Sox are 12 games above the Brewers, and it's not a knock on the Brewers. It's just that I think the Red Sox have been more consistent all year. Their bullpen is a major issue, so I feel like if this is the World Series matchup, the Milwaukee Brewers will have to push the Red Sox in when the bullpen comes in. That's when they're going to have to strike. If they can do it, good for them. But I'm picking the Red Sox to win the World Series in 6 games. And yes, I think the Red Sox would win the World Series in Milwaukee because I believe it would be in Milwaukee for Game 6. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. Enjoy the postseason and have a good day.